Welcome to my masterclass. Today is the 8th class of my masterclass. We will learn about Chinese poems in this class. Let's talk about memorizing poems. Chinese little kids start to memorize poems verbally. This is the way to learn Chinese literature as a young child. In this class, we will try to memorize some very popular and well-known ancient poems. Memorizing poems is a part of Chinese culture, and children do this from a very young age. Here is the first Chinese poem we will learn. The first poem we will learn is the romantic poem about two lovers who are separated on opposite sides of a river. In Chinese, this poem is called 卜算子, and in English, the poem is called Divination Song. Another way to title the poem in English is Lyrics to the Melody of Divining Numbers. The author of this poem is Li Zhiyi, or in English, Li Zhiyi. What is this poem about? The narrator is a woman who is desiring her lover. She is very respectful of this lover, calling him 君子, a respectful way to say Lord, or something similar. This is how the poem looks like. Let's read the poem with pinyin. 我住长江头，君住长江尾。日日思君不见君，共饮长江水。此水几时休？此恨何时已？只愿君心似我心，定不负相思意。This is the English translation of the poem. I live where the Yangtze begins. You live where the Yangtze comes to its end. Day after day I long for you, yet I see you not, though we the Yangtze's waters share. When shall the waters run dry? When shall this regret come to an end? I only hope that your heart is like mine, and disappoint not our mutual wistful affections. Here is how to memorize the poem. First, write out the poem by hand onto a piece of paper. Transcribe the characters you do not know with pinyin. I like to write it out with pencil. You may read it verbally continuously until you have mastered reading it. After mastering reading it, you can memorize it line by line. This is the second Chinese poem we will learn. The second poem we will learn is the poem written by Meng Jiao called 游子吟. The meaning of this poem is about a traveling son whose mother sews him clothing. The title literally means the wandering son's song. The author was a Tang Dynasty poet. This is the poem. This is the poem with pinyin. 慈母手中线，游子身上衣。临行密密缝，意恐迟迟归。谁言寸草心， 报得三春晖。Here's the English translation of the poem. The thread in the hand of a kind mother is the coat on the wanderer's back. Before he left, she stitched it close, in secret fear that he would be slow to return. Who will say that the inch of grass in his heart is gratitude enough for all the sunshine of spring? Here is the third poem we will learn. This poem is one of the most famous poems in Chinese literature. It is written by Li Bai, and it is about him missing his hometown. It is called Jing Ye Si, and in Chinese the author is Li Bai. Here is the poem. Here is the poem with pinyin. 床前明月光，疑是地上霜。举头望明月，低头思故乡。Listen as I read the English translation of the poem. Bright moonlight before my bed, I suppose it is frost on the ground. I raise my head to view the bright moon, then lower it thinking of my home village. This is the fourth poem we will learn. This poem is called Observing a Village Festival by Yang Wanli. In Chinese, it is called Guan She, and the author is Yang Wanli. Here is what the poem looks like. This is the poem with pinyin. 作社朝辞有足观，山浓其福更盈年。忽然箫鼓来何处？走杀儿童最可怜。虎面豹头十字固，野鸥是五个睁眼。王侯将相饶尊贵，布帛渠农衣享颠。This is the English translation of the poem. Making a festival, one pays a visit to the shrine. There's enough for one to look at. Mountain farmers pray for fortune, then welcome the harvest in. Suddenly, panpipes and drums. Where are they coming from? The running goblins and children are the most adorable. Tiger faces and panther heads. From time to time they look at each other. Country folk songs and market dances all compete for beauty. Princes, lords, generals, and ministers, abundant in status and title. Yet they cannot have the fun these people do with their provisions. Here is the fifth poem we will learn. This poem is called 贫女, and its author was Qin Tao Yu. In English, the poem is called A Girl of Meager Means. Here's how the poem looks like. Here is a poem with 拼音。蓬门未识绮罗香，拟托良媒意自伤。谁爱风流高格调，共怜时世简梳妆。敢将十指夸针巧，不把双眉斗画长。苦恨年年压金线，为他人作嫁衣裳。Here is the English translation of the poem. A girl of meager means knows not what it's like to beautiful silk brocades wear and shine. It only further saddens her when she contemplates asking a matchmaker to a suitor find. Who can really appreciate her virtue and merit? For she knows to diligence maintain, and the frivolous avoid in hard times. She is confident of her hands and fingers to fine needlework produce. She is not obsessed with having her eyebrows long and fine. Regretfully here she remains year after year stitching embroidery, sewing bridal dresses for others. Such is her life.